What's up, everybody? It's Nick the Slick Johnson here with Jacob Snyder, the man who make a day brighter, Snyder. We are here to talk to you about a very, very interesting film that is called...
Very special film.
A very special film. A very special film. And it is called Skinamarink. Oh, this movie changed my life, man.
And it's only been 2 weeks.
I know. Like, this movie... I'm gonna just get into it like really quick. It's a horror movie. It's my number one horror movie of all time. Nothing else, at least yet, tops this. And
this is no hyperbole. This is like
I haven't seen anything else like this. This is gonna sound weird, but again, like once y'all see it, it's like, oh, okay, this was actually really good.
Hopefully,
yeah.
it's a very. I can see it only appealing to a niche,
a certain group
audience. But if you are in that niche, you'll probably love it. It's just so you don't see movies like this anymore. But I'll throw it back to you.
And no, I agree. Like, again, like there's been nothing else like this. And the way it's shot, the way the audio is in the movie, the story structure is kind of like, oh, wow. But, and I'm going to pass the reins over to Jacob Snyder, the man who make a day brighter, Snyder.
All right. So a really quick synopsis, and I'm going to try and keep it as non-specific, as vague as I possibly can, because going into this movie, not knowing what to expect is probably the biggest treat you can give yourself. If you want to feel something, don't look into this movie. Don't try not to watch any trailers. If you can, just put it on and see if you like it. But the synopsis of this movie is two children, a brother and a sister, wake up in the middle of the night one night. They discover that their dad is missing, and they also discover that all the windows and the doors in the house have vanished. That's it. That's the synopsis. That's all I'm going to give you, because that's really all you need.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to throw it back to you. What makes this your number one?
For me personally, it kind of harkened back to, I'll say this. Like you just said, it focuses on two children in this very scary environment, and it's the house. It is presumably nighttime, because technically
it's not even that it's nighttime. It's just that no natural light can get into the house anymore because all of the exits and windows are gone. So it's like perpetually dark unless they have their lights on.
Yeah, it's always dark. And like, I guess just like when I was watching it, my innate thing was like, okay, well, this is like in the middle of the night. But then the way things kind of transpire, it's like, is it? I don't know, maybe. But the main thing for me, the thing that I liked the most about this movie was that it really made me feel like a little kid again, like in a house at night, like
in the like worst, most vulnerable way.
Yeah, just scared. I was on the edge of my seat, man. I didn't know what was going on. And like you said, I had went in blind, and so it was kind of like I didn't know what to expect in this movie, and just the visual style of it was unlike anything I'd ever seen in any film before. Like a lot of the a lot of the shots, if it's like maybe looking down a dark hallway or dark corridor or whatever, it had these little kind of spots just all around the all around the frame and stuff like that, and it reminds me of like if Nicholas Johnson in real life is looking down a dark hallway, I have those spots like in my eyes. So like that felt cool. And it was kind of like, oh man. I don't want to get like too much into it, but basically it was almost like nostalgia, because it made me feel like being a little kid scared of the dark in a dark house. But the nostalgia thing, it's kind of like bad or scary nostalgia. And it really just put me in that headspace, and no other movie has really put me in that type of headspace before. No other movie has really made me feel like I was actually there, and like, oh man, like something that I would maybe be scared of as a little kid is actually like something I'm scared of literally through my eyes is on screen. All the other horror movies, they might have tried to emulate that or whatever, but this one just felt genuine. Like it almost felt like an actual memory. Yeah,
that's a really good descriptor for this because going back to those spots, the film grain, this movie, and I have to imagine it was intentional because it was shot, if I'm not mistaken, on a Sony FX6 camera, which is a really nice new digital camera. It's not a film camera, so all the film grain it had to have been done in post. And the grain, I've never seen grain quite like that because it felt like those paintings where you paint by dots, impressionism maybe. I'm not fluent on my art history, but
shame. That's whack, bro.
Hang on 1 second. Oh, yeah, it really felt like those paintings because the way those paintings work is like up close, it's just a bunch of nonsense. But like you stand further back and you start to make out things in the whole picture. And there are so many shots in this movie, maybe even like 70% of this movie is made up of this type of shot where it's just wide or close-up shots of the empty dark spaces in this house. And because there's so much black darkness on screen, you can really just see the film grain. And because of like the film grain, it's constantly moving, you think you can make out shapes in the film grain in the dark, and it's just so effective. And you use the word genuine, and that was my biggest takeaway from this movie. Like it felt like the director, the writer, the creator just was so passionate and so confident about what he was doing with the camera, with the footage, because this horror movie kind of bucked every cliche that horror movies these days just adhere to willingly. Because, and I guess I won't get into spoilers. I'll try and keep this as vague as I can. But this movie does things happen in this movie that legitimately shocked me and disturbed me, and it just doesn't let up. If anything, during
if anything, it lets down.
if anything, during the whole duration of the movie, it only gets worse and worse and worse for these main characters, and it does it in a way without relying on the James Wan, the camera like swivels around and reveals a monster.
You know what? Yeah, I got like, that was really cool when it was first introduced, like in those Conjuring movies.
Yeah, those first ones, the first James Wan horror movies. It's a reason those techniques have become a staple.
But that's the thing, though, like, because they kept happening, and it was like, okay, it's not clever anymore because you're showing the shit in the trailer. Don't like pan around and then like come back and then like, oh man, it's gone, and then like you go back and then the monster's there, because we've seen that already. You know what I mean?
We've seen that already so many times.
And like, bro, you can say we've seen that already about so many movies. Maybe even all of them, low key, because again, like certain
there's
like
the
genre,
argument nothing's original these days, or
like
anymore.
Yeah, genres are always gonna have their tropes, and it's always the tropes and the cliches, and like, okay, like action movies always do this, comedies always do this, romantic comedies always do this, da 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 da. But Skinamarink, there wasn't anything in that movie that I had seen before. So as disturbing as it was, and as like horrifying as it was refreshing. It was just as refreshing to watch and to experience.
It was really refreshing. Like, especially, I guess, bringing it home to us as two guys who are really into horror and are also really into making our own short films, our own films, just the filmmaking process. It was really refreshing and inspiring to see, not saying at all that this is like a thing of our caliber, not trying to like take away any achievement this movie has made by comparing it to our work. However, it was really nice to see certain things happen in this movie that I loved, that I would love to do. Like, not saying I would copy it, but it's like if I made a horror movie about this subject matter, I would also make these decisions. Not all of them, again, but still, it's just so refreshing after seeing so many horror movies just kind of recycle other movies in the genre. This one comes in and it brought the indie filmmaker spirit back into it. And it just kind of revitalized the whole feeling behind it, and it just felt genuine again. And because of all this, because of how fresh it felt, I don't want to risk spoiling it any further. So I'm just going to cap my talk there. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Best horror movie I've seen in a minute. I still remember you, Smile. I love you.
Smile's number 2.
Smile's really good. But 2023, Skinamarink, best horror movie of the year so far. Smile, best horror movie of 2022. Unless I'm forgetting one. Anyway, this has been HEADCANON. Thank you for joining us. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe, and you can find us anywhere where you get your podcasts from. This has been Jacob Snyder, the man who will make your day brighter, Snyder.
And this has been Nick the Slick Johnson,
signing out.